Time now for weather with Nebraska Extension Ag Climatologist and Market Journal Chief Meteorologist Al Dutcher. Al, our air conditioners were getting quite the workout this week. What is on tap for the week ahead?
Well, Troy, certainly was a scorcher out there this week with the worst of the conditions Wednesday and Thursday across the state when we've seen temperatures well into the upper 90s to the 105, 106 readings. Thankfully, a little bit of our dew point temperatures come up somewhat, but we still had quite a bit of dry air over the region, so we just seen some scattering of convection on occasion move through the region, with the most extensive area of precipitation development was Thursday night across Iowa, and some of that back built it into northeastern Nebraska and then of course spread toward the south. Now as we go forward in time, with the drought monitor showing expansion of abnormal dryness into much of the northern 1/3 of the state and some severe drought in extreme northeastern Nebraska, precipitation is going to become very critical as the crop starts using more water going forward. There are opportunities for moisture, and a cooling trend looks to be in store, at least from the model standpoint. We mentioned that last week. It looks like it's a little bit more certain in regards to the forecast going forward. So let's take a look at the upper mountains and see how things might progress. And the first thing we'll draw your attention to is that cooler air that sagged into the state basically is locked into the northern half of the plains, kind of a zonal flow with a little bit of energy that's coming out of southern Montana. At the surface, we have low pressure over the Black Hills, and in terms of moisture, we're getting some moisture moving up to the north. So we do get some scattered convection this morning, and we start to see some of that maybe possibly break out as we go into the overnight hours into tomorrow. As this trough starts to sag and bring much cooler air into our region, we should start to see our temperatures drop back into the low to upper 80s. Low pressure at the surface lines up from the Texas Panhandle all the way up to the northeast. We see that overrunning precipitation, particularly over Iowa, northeastern Nebraska once again, and I think some of that will sag toward the south, particularly on Monday, and we should see some of that moving to southeastern Nebraska during the overnight hours into the early morning. As high pressure starts to build toward the south and the east, that will push during the day all of that precipitation much toward the central and eastern Corn Belt. We start to see ridging taking place to the west of us on Tuesday. We're still in the northwest flow, so we're going to see the cooler conditions across the eastern part of the state. We still should be in the 80s. We might actually breach the 90-degree mark in the southwest as low pressure over the Texas Panhandle sets up. Most of the moisture that would be evected northward is being robbed by the tropical system that's going to be moving on shore over Louisiana. And then on Wednesday, we see that ridge build up, and so we should return back to the 90s across most of the southern half of the state, probably upper 80s across the north. Low pressure over North Dakota really doesn't have any moisture to work with, as the main upper air low is situated over the northwestern Great Lakes. Now on Thursday, another wave starts to try to push southward along with a southerly flow through the southern jet stream out of the southwest. So low pressure sets up basically over some portions of north central Kansas. That should allow some overrunning precipitation. Right now the GFS model wants to keep that precipitation just to the east of Nebraska, but you'll notice the high pressure starts to form over the south central United States on Friday. That should give us some wraparound moisture on the backside, and as that system pushes toward the east, we may see much more better moisture feeds. So they're showing the interaction of a front pushing southward with that moisture developing over northern Nebraska. As we go farther out, the cool trend continues in the GFS model for next Thursday to the following Tuesday and may extend even into the end of the month. High pressure aloft over the west keeps us warm, and in terms of precipitation, with the trough in the east, we do see much better precipitation probabilities across much of the western and central Corn Belt.